KBoom 108, where we're right and they are wrong. Aren't we, Mike?
Yes.
On the Mike and David show. Aren't we full? I mean, aren't we full? Aren't we as a country? I'm not you personally.
All right, I was going to say, I haven't had any lunch.
You haven't had any lunch.
I walked in, there's a nice spread. There's some bagels and schmears out there.
Right, but we're not full.
No.
Not by a long shot.
Absolutely
we can
not.
always eat.
Absolutely.
But we as a country, aren't we as a country full already? Full of everything, including shit?
Filled to bursting,
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, so it brings to mind the question of what do we do about these illegal immigrants? I mean, as you sit there and you watch the Stillwater television news, you listen to Jack in the newsroom doing the news, we are run over. We're inundated with these people that aren't from here.
Right.
And yet those very same people want to use our schools. They want to use our social services.
They want to use our bathrooms.
They want to. Has that happened to you too?
I have. There's oftentimes I'll be standing outside and there'll be someone inside with the door locked, comes out, it's like a family of 9. What are you doing in there? Washing up? Get out of there.
I know. It's like they're using the wash basin as a shower.
Don't understand it.
I don't get it. So,
do those people always travel in packs of like 9 and 10?
Yes.
I see a car, and inevitably there's those it's got little balls hanging off the mirror, and then it's got the pa-da-da-da-ta horn, and then there's like 47 dudes in that car.
I'm sorry, what kind of horn?
The pa-da-da-ta-ta.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if that's what that means. That's just that seems to be the tune that they enjoy.
And I don't know where they're coming from. I don't care where they're coming from. I just know that they're coming here, and
I'd like to know where they're going. Quite frankly, I can tell you that.
You'd like to know where they're going?
Yeah, I don't care where they're from, but I'd like to know where they're going at all times. We need to keep an eye on these people.
Really?
Well, yeah, because they are coming here and they're screwing it up, for lack of a better term. They're screwing it up for the rest of us. I don't want to go bare-fisted, bare knuckle on everybody, but let's be honest. These people are making our country a worse place to live.
Mm. I think we need some sort of controls. Now, I know we have them in place. They're being roundly ignored by the people coming over the border, especially by those people from Norway. Oh. I don't know how they're getting across the polar ice cap, using some sort of mucklucks and dog sleds and whatever, but them coming in.
I'll tell you, I got to be honest, there's nothing worse than walking through. I walk through Stillwater, and you walk through the park. Mm. You'll come upon, there's a couple of blonde guys in like wooden shoes eating creamy fish out of a jar.
Yeah.
Not interested.
No.
And they got like big, thick walrus type mustaches, and that creamy fish is like stuck in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's
like a little for later.
Oh, it's horrifying.
That's what they're saying. Oh, that's a little for later. Yeah. I've heard them.
Get a napkin, Leif.
And learn English.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard that's a little for later.
That's too many vowels in that sentence.
Absolutely.
I don't get it.
So then I have a proposal. I have a modest proposal.
Now, is this just for the Norwegians, or is this for everybody?
I think this is for everybody across the board.
All right.
Look, I believe that no matter how you get into this country, if you get into this country illegally, you need to be called for it. You need to be called on it, and you need to be made to pay. And believe me, I got a laundry list of things. But first and foremost, I think we chip the immigrants.
Chip them?
Yes, we chip the immigrants. Do you know what that term is, chipping?
No, I'm thinking of like chipping ice. Like
no.
With a chisel.
Implanting a chip.
Oh.
Inside. Like in the back of the neck or in the forearm or maybe in the bicep. Although I do not want in any way, shape, or form to have any illegal immigrants' lifting power to be in any way, shape, or form limited.
Impeded.
Yeah, limited. So maybe the bicep isn't a great idea. But somewhere. Back of the neck, shoulder, something that can be scanned easily.
Now, are you proposing we do this to the people that are here now, or just all of the new entries?
Oh, no, people that are here now, in particular the people that are here now, so we know where they are. I mean, one of the problems we have with illegal immigration is they are everywhere.
True.
I see them at Freckle Bitches. I see them at Novin dropping off a jalopy. Yeah. I see them. I see them. Where else do I see them? I see them in Saints Row all the time. I mean, who knows how many of those people are legal?
Yeah, and that doesn't seem fair because there's that gang. There's the Los Carnales gang.
Yes.
Is that the Carnales?
Los Carnales, yes.
Yeah. And that doesn't seem fair to the other gangs that these guys just keep getting replenished with new cannon fodder.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like playing one of those games when you were a kid, when you were playing the board games, and you had all the money.
Yeah.
You had all the soldiers. You had all the tanks and the special white chips that got you in further into their strategic area. I have a feeling.
Are you saying that these immigrants have sank your battleship?
As a matter of fact, I am.
Oh.
I think figuratively and literally, our battleship has been sunk because we are burdened. We are overburdened. Our system is overburdened. Our schools are overburdened. The fact that when I go down to Stillwater DMV and I have to pick and choose which of the pamphlets that I am going to read to get my, my good driver certificate or whatever, to get my license renewed. I'm going to review all this stuff. I have to leaf through 90 pages of every language in the known universe until I get to English.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
All because we're servicing these illegal immigrants.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even know how you would say parallel parking and tiling ease.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because these people are driving yaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do they know?
So my problem here is this. And my solution. I have a problem and I have a solution.
Okay.
So I'm not just stating the problem like some of the other radio stations here in town that yap on about this
They
stuff.
throw stuff out there and then they'll be like, we want to hear what you think about it. Call us, because they have no solutions.
Yeah,
they're
we don't
just
care what you
throwing
think.
stuff against the wall.
We don't want to know what you think.
No. We'll tell you what
we'll
to think.
tell you what to think.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I believe that the problem is we don't know where these illegal immigrants are. We don't know their paths as they come into the country. I
have to stop you.
Yes.
I think we know where they are.
We do?
Everywhere. We see them all over the
Everywhere.
place. We don't know where they're going or where they end up. That's the thing. Like at night, who knows where they're at?
Scurrying off under some rock.
They have like a Los Clubhouse somewhere.
Los Clubhouse.
Yes. Where they're in there and they've got their regiment of the eye and they're hitting a gavel and then they're deciding what to do about us. I don't
Regiment
like it.
of the Eye.
It's
Are you a
club.
member of one of those secret societies?
I may have heard of something on the internet about those Regiment of the Eyes.
Okay, fine. We need to know where they are.
I agree.
And yes, they're everywhere, but we need to know specifically
where
they
they're going,
are, where they're going,
located,
yeah.
where their headquarters is.
Right. So, sneak into our country. If we find you, we have one of those special guns. We snap a chip into your neck.
Yeah, boom.
Period.
Like a zip gun.
Now, and this is only because our leaders are not willing to pick these people up by the scruffs of their necks and kick their little tushies back to whatever country they came from. You know?
They're too concerned with offending people and hurting people's feelings.
And losing childcare.
Yes.
And gardening.
Oh,
and
sure.
Pool cleaning.
Yeah,
and orange selling. And taquerias. And what else? What else are we in danger of losing? Oh, the milky, creamy fish guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not a fan.
But there are some people, who get into that sort of thing.
I suppose. I don't understand it.
I think that if we can track them, if we know where they're going, what they're doing, we can, in fact, turn this whole thing around. We can turn this whole immigration thing around. We need an FIA.
FIA.
A Federal Immigration Authority that can monitor the traffic and make sure there's no bumping and bumping into, like the planes.
Oh, so like a GPS, like you'll have a screen.
Right.
And you'll have like a little blip with a sombrero going around. You'll know where they're at.
Sombrero if they're from Mexico.
Sure.
Right? Something with a ski if they're from Norway.
Yeah, a big brush mustache. I would say like a big...
Yes.
Yeah, just
I'm
a
with you.
big
I
mustache.
hear you. Just an icon of some sort. A
little maple leaf,
for the Canadians
sneaking around. Sure.
Absolutely. So we do that.
And a half-eaten dog, if you're from one of those fine places where they go ahead
the
and
Asian
consume
countries?
our pets. Yes.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that. If these people refuse to put in these chips, we just make it worse for them. We outfit them with shock collars.
Wow, I like it.
If you're not going to take a little chip under the skin, you're not going to go a little subcutaneous, great.
That's fine.
You have a new fashion accessory, my friend. That's what I say.
Now, so they get a shock collar. Let me ask you something. Where, in theory, the shock collar needs a source, a power source that they can't, like a border they can't cross, in order for it to be activated. Correct? So, would you?
Oh no. We're not trying to keep anybody in a yard. You mean like one of those invisible fences?
Yeah, that's what. Is that what you mean?
No, because we're not going to do that. You said it yourself very well. They're like cockroaches. They're everywhere.
Oh, sure.
We're not going to stop that. We're just going to know where they are. And what I propose is that we give all of the white people that are here in town and the immigrants that are here legally,
legal immigrants,
we give them the ability to plug in a joystick into their personal computers. We make a website. We show where these people are, teeming all around the city, wherever they are. You can take your mouse and click on somebody and give them a quick zap. What do you think, huh?
Just a
Enough
zap.
of that. Enough of that.
They don't have to be even doing anything
No.
wrong.
No.
Because they're just doing something wrong by being here.
They could be selling oranges.
Yeah.
They could be selling oranges. All of a sudden, you've got hot orange juice. Because, like that.
Guy with a gift squeeze because you can
Yes.
throw a nice 200 volts. through.
Yes.
I like
you
it.
hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
now,
on
this will
board.
teach these people. Don't fuck with us.
And it would only take, although these people never learn. I was going to say it would only take a few of them to get the shock collar.
Yeah.
And then they'd go, you know what, give me the chip.
Give me the chip.
But now, I got to be honest with you, these people don't learn. They would try to find some way to incorporate, you know what they would do?
Yeah.
They would find a way to, like, come up behind a white guy and tackle him and hope to get shocked while they were holding the guy and then shocking him in turn. Like,
So
trying
it
to
would be
turn
sort of like
against
the
us.
international jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
Sort of internet. Wow.
Sort of like almost like a mutant superpower of sorts. They would find a way. They would be in cahoots with the underbelly, like the white underbelly of this country. Because let's be honest, not all the white
The
people
trash?
are good. Yeah, those people.
Yeah.
They would find a way to
Trailer
like pay
people.
them off to locate them with the joystick,
Yeah.
and then they would go in and rob a store. Like they would hold onto a clerk by the throat and then
Oh.
zap and then take it.
So this is rife with problems.
Well, but again, we're spitballing it. We could work this out easily.
We can, and I think we will. You're listening to KBoom 108, where we're right and they're wrong. Mike and David, and let's try it from the other way. Rather than the stick, let's talk about a carrot.
Okay.
I was talking with some people about this the other day, and somebody, I don't know who I stole it from, but somebody came up with Jingo, a new organization. Jingo. I'm like, Jingo. I like that.
Sounds like a lottery game.
Sounds like a little game you play with wooden pieces. You try and build a tower.
Oh,
Who
that's a
knows?
good game.
You know. But here's what Jingo stands for. Jobs for immigrants, not geeks overseas. Now, one would argue that there's an extra F in there for the word for, but that's sort of a throwaway word. So just roll with me on this.
Yeah, that would be-
Jobs for immigrants, not geeks overseas. Here's what we do. We take all these illegal immigrants, we round them up, and all this yammering about offshoring and jobs leaving the country and going, hello, may I help you? You know, we put these people in a great big warehouse here in Stillwater. We run thousands of phone lines into this warehouse, hundreds of toll-free numbers for every company that work anywhere in the country wants to take advantage of that. We stick these people in there. We give them the same scripts that they're using overseas, and we turn Stillwater into the call center of America.
Wow. You think big.
What do you think?
You think big. That's what I think.
It's manageable.
We know where they are.
We know where they are. It's efficient, and while they're in this building, the shock collars aren't operating. So it's a sort of a draw. Instead of a stick, it's a carrot. Come eat my carrot. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, I hear you. Here's my question.
Yes.
Who teaches these people to read? You said there's scripts involved. They're going to need to handle, the volume of calls coming in will be from Americans who speak English. Who's going to teach these puddin' heads from, other places?
Puddin' heads?
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Is that a technical term?
Sure.
Okay.
It's kind of like a whistlehead.
Gotcha.
Who's going to teach them how to read? Because we know that these people can't read, or else they'd see the sign that says stay out.
What if we made the scripts all pictographs? All pictures. And then they could say, take the round circle with the little circle inside it and put it on the cup-shaped piece of plastic that slides in and out of your computer. What do you think? That might work. That's about as good as you get from overseas anyway. Heck, that's as good as you get from some people here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and these people, and they'll be working toward...
Hey, I got it.
What?
They read their own language, don't they?
Sure.
Let's go to their countries. Let's outsource back to the U.S. Let's go to their countries and say, hey, you've got personal computers here in San Salvador and Mexico and Canada and Norway, right? We've got people in Stillwater that speak your language, my friend. Huh?
So a little reverse.
Call your toll-free. Yeah.
A little osmosis.
Yeah. Let's take advantage of the fact that we have all these illegal immigrants here. Let's put them to work back. And you know what? They're sending all their money back there anyway.
True.
Right?
Yeah, we're funding them. Essentially, our economy funds their economy illicitly.
Yeah. Why are
Western
we doing
Union.
that? Well, let's do it, and let's get benefit as well. Because when Mr. and Mrs. Overseas Illegal Immigrant leaves the building, they're still going to buy themselves some clothes. from Stefan. They're going to buy themselves a car from Vinny, my friend Vinny over at Novin. They're going to spend their money. Now, what they're not doing is they're not taking showers.
Well, let me backtrack. I have to stop you.
All right.
They're not going to buy clothes from Stefan. They could not possibly afford that. They're going to go to Sloppy Seconds and pick up some clothes there.
All right.
Secondly,
but it's money into the economy.
Let me play devil's advocate here. Let me throw some danger.
Here we go.
This is the danger of your plan. I
All
like
right,
your plan.
fine. All right.
But here's something that could go wrong, and tell me how we fix it. We outsource to the other countries. That means people from that country are calling here and getting their fellow countrymen who've made it.
I see where you're going. Go ahead.
So we don't know what these people are saying.
No.
They're going to have some sort of code that they're going to throw back to their old country.
Right.
And maybe even provide them with a blueprint of how to sneak into this country. Because they've obviously done it successfully.
It could actually make the problem worse.
I think you're actually inviting, I don't want to say anarchy, but you're certainly inviting an uprising. This is a tough problem. We're not going to solve it in 4 minutes.
This was so close. I was so close with this.
Well, I like it, and it's a moneymaker. It's just we would have to find a way to break through their pidgin English or whatever it is they're going to be speaking.
Nice. I like this. A lot to chew on. Please stay tuned. You're listening to KBoom 108. Mike and David, we're right. They're wrong. Back in a moment.
Upscale means different things to different people. At Crash Landing in the heart of the airport district, enrobe yourself in an environment of glass, brass, rich wood, and chrome, where martinis are served to order, and the staff is here to serve. Not only are the ladies here attentive to your every need, they are specifically trained to go down on you anytime, and the terms are absolutely free at Crash Landing. Our bartenders are master craftsmen at the Art of Martini building, and our happy hours raise the bar on luxury. Every night from 9 to 11, we take Muslims and have the use of a limousine and driver, all on your way to fly. Crash Landing, the Martini bar in Stillwater at the airport.
Our world is dying. Hello, I'm Marge from On the Rag. I was appalled when I found out that huge corporations are destroying the rainforest to make the jeans you're wearing. It's true. Do you know how many rabbits died in the testing laboratories so that you could wear those socks? It's true. So I went on the hunt for materials that Mother Earth herself would proudly wear and would look great with her bowl haircut. We got comfortable shoes, painter pants, work shirts, and On the Rag proudly features the XX XY clothing line that is stylish, easy to care for, and certified dolphin safe. New product flows in once a month. So we'll see you soon at On the Rag. Peace.
The talk that rocks and rolls you. Stillwater's 108 FM. WMD KBoom.
I'm not quite sure why this is that they keep portraying older white men as loud, as boisterous, as repeating themselves, that they are loud. I don't understand why they keep taking people and putting them in these violent video games and making them sound as though they're just older buffoons, as though they don't have a life experience on this sort of thing, as if they don't understand the horrors of war. I served in our armed services. I know the horrors of war, and what's being shown in these violent video games is not the horrors of war. It's something else. It's some sort of stylized fantasy.
It's certainly horrors, but maybe not the horrors of war. War that you
horrors.
saw. Yes.
Horrors, not whores. I don't mind whores. I don't mind the whores.
I see.
I believe that we are taking our youth and we're giving them this idealized viewpoint of war, that they can take a one of these discs and put them inside these games and start things up, and after the title sequence finishes, boom, they're in the middle of some war that there's no consequences whatsoever. This is the thing.
None.
No
consequences.
consequences. You kill somebody, hey, you move on and kill somebody else.
And it tries to portray salt of the earth, blue collar America, hardworking white professionals who are essentially the backbone of the society, as loud and blustery and boisterous, and that they repeat themselves, and that's not the case. That isn't true.
I don't believe that's the case.
And it's a bad message to send to kids.
No, it is a bad message to send to kids.
Yeah.
The fact that they keep telling the same story over and over again, that they have these people repeating themselves over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, all you read in the newspaper is about these games and these kids growing up to kill people in real life.
Yeah.
And they're getting younger and younger all the time. There was a 6-year-old toddler in North Stillwater that took a gun and blew away his grandparents. 6 months old, picking up a weapon as though it was, simply lying on the ground, and had some sort of number floating over it so that when you actually picked it up, it did something. It gave you some sort of credit.
Right.
I don't buy this.
And it just sends a message that, hey, minorities are cool and that's who you want to be.
How can they possibly think that?
And if you can grow up to be, a white shop owner, watch out. You're going to get a bullet in the spleen. It's just inevitable and it's going to happen.
Why would they not take God-fearing Christian white people and make them the heroes of these games?
They should.
Why is that
they're
not
the heroes
case?
Of real life.
That's exactly right.
And these people are selling escapism, but it's the wrong kind of escapism. You want to escape into the Bible. You want to escape into your family's past. Sit down with a veteran and ask them about their life.
The world of Jesus.
Right.
This man had an interesting life. You want to talk about a violent video game?
Oh, boy.
How about a violent video game about Jesus' life?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
This man suffered.
But you know what? These kids would not learn. They would all want to be Judas. Every one of these kids would say, hey, I'm going to be Judas. And
I think there ought to be a law. There ought to be a law that you cannot play the bad guy in a game, in any game. Why would we want to teach our children those values? Oh, hey, I don't want to be the cop. I want to be the robber.
Yeah, I'm going to walk right by this storefront and steal this apple, and there's nothing anybody can do to me.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that tell our youth of today? And these games are very popular.
When we were growing up, we would play, Cowboys and Indians.
Right.
Who wanted to be the Indian?
Nobody.
No one.
No one.
Because you know what happened to them.
Yes, you do know what happened.
And they deserved it, and
rightfully so.
Sure.
They were the bad guys.
Right.
The Indians were the bad guys. The Cowboys were the good guys. Am I right?
Yeah. White hat, white horse, silver bullet, possibly a mask sometimes.
Sometimes.
And but he had an Indian friend, but he brought him around because sometimes if they knew their place.
Occasionally, you can do that with the Redskins.
If they know their place,
you can. Now, this business of being able to play these violent video games as the bad person, as the minority that steals from the white shop owner, to be actually able to play from their perspective, I think sends the wrong message.
Yeah.
I think it sends the wrong message. In fact, I think that having actual weapons that make realistic noises. Remember when we were kids, we could play let's call it a violent video game. The violent video game of our day was holding up your fingers, your hand, your fist, sticking out your finger and your thumb, forming a fake gun,
right,
and going bang, bang.
Bang, bang, you're dead.
Right? And, of course, you always had the goofy kid in your group play the Indian because you wanted to be the cowboy. You wanted to be the cop, not the robber. You want to be the cowboy, not the Indian. And, again, I don't understand why they keep portraying these old white men in these games as buffoons that repeat themselves. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I do not get that at all.
I would say that it's reinforcing a stereotype, except it's not even a stereotype. It's like they're trying to make it a stereotype by putting it in every single game.
They're forcing it.
Yeah, they're making us be loud and boisterous and buffoons, and that we repeat ourselves. We don't repeat ourselves. Why would they say that?
I don't know why they'd say that. I don't. Do you?
No, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And I think that it has to change. It has to change right now, right here. It has to start with the Stillwater City Council.
Yeah.
It has to start with people like our great Chief Monroe. Why wouldn't our children want to be like Chief Monroe instead of these what do they call these guys? These Los Carnales.
Yeah.
Jack Armstrong is always talking about it on the news. That Los Carnales this and Los Carnales that and who else? The Third Street Saints. That's an area of town you want to stay away from. That's an area of town.
I don't even drive through it anymore.
I understand that that's the only area of town that there actually is ammo lying on the ground. And I say ammo because I spent time in the service.
Well, sure, yeah. You did.
I know what ammo's all about. I'm not one of these older white guys that consistently repeats themselves as they show us in the video games doing so. I think that's just insane. I don't know why they do that.
No, I don't get it either. We're not loud and boisterous. We don't repeat ourselves.
No, we're not loud.
No.
We're not boisterous. We're not loud. I don't understand it at all.
I'm fed up.
So this ammo is lying on the ground on 3rd Street. The ammo is lying on the ground all throughout the whole Saints Row area.
Now, you've been there?
There are a couple of, I'm an older man. I have needs.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a nice butcher shop over there. You're saying you get some steaks? You get to go?
No, there are. I have a couple of lady friends. That live near there. And it's easier for me to go through the Saints Row area than it is to drive around it, because frankly, I'm not going to let them have that power over me.
Wow.
You know, I'm been in Stillwater my whole life. I'm not about to let that all go just because some ruffian, some Hispanic, some Latino, some black man with a gun and a bandana and a big thick fur coat that demands $300. I'm not going to let that happen.
You know, they actually closed the freckle bitches in that part of town.
They did.
They did because
for a while,
because they were lying in wait in the drive-through, and they call it gaffling, I think is what they said.
Gaffling,
like gaffling, and they would swoop in when you got your food, and then they would put a gun in your face and take your food and your car. They would just swoop in, and you'd say you go in, you stop in, you try to get a fist, you stop in to get a nice fist, or a chicken bazoom,
right,
and you order it, and then you pull up to the window, and bang. There's Undercover Leroy and his friends, and then
this is the result of violent video games.
Sure.
This is exactly what happens. And in the end, you know who's made out to be the bad guy? The white guy. Yeah. The older white guy. Always made to show that he's repeating himself.
Yeah.
That he's loud and he's boisterous. Not the minorities that are there stealing your bazoom from you from the freckle bitches drive-through.
Their gold fronts and then their taxi cab hats.
Yes. What is that?
It's like
I'm agreeing with you, but I don't know what that is.
It's not. It's sort of like a beret with a bill. You've never seen that sort of a hat. They call it a taxi hat.
Okay. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
it sort of sticks up in front.
Sure.
Like the Bowery Boys guy used to wear.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I got
Mugs,
it.
I believe.
Mugs.
Yes. And then they were their bucket hat. Their which is like that gentleman from that television show that's still popular. Is it popular?
I don't know.
Good Times. What's his name? JJ.
Yes, JJ Walker.
Yeah. And they would wear that crazy bucket hat, and they also they pull a basketball over their head like that guy in the Fat Albert cartoon.
You know, for someone who you're very well versed on this. This is what I love about working on the air with you, is that you are in touch with the youth of today, with the pop culture, with the youth culture.
Listen, you have to stay 2 steps ahead.
Have you played any of these games? I have to ask you.
I have. And here's why. I played these games because I think that it's my job to know what's happening. So then even because I imagine that these people are acting out scenarios from these games on the street. So if I'm...
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
If I'm confronted by some ruffians, and in my head I'll go, hey, I saw this taking place in one of those games, and I'll know...
So you're prepared for this?
Oh, certainly. I mean...
I'm sorry. I you know what? I understand. I understand that you're frightened, that you live your life in some cases with a sense of fear, and that you're trying to prepare yourself, but I don't think that it's worth the price that you pay as an individual, as a human being, to allow these games to... Well, okay.
You are polluting your mind. There's no doubt, and I find I'm polluting my mind when I watch these games, but you go to confession. You go to confession that night, and you become absolved, and you talk about what you've seen.
You know, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You can just do that.
You unburden yourself.
You can just take care of it.
Absolutely, and it's just, I don't carry it with me.
Okay.
When I watch it, I'm horrified, and I have my face is a grin.
I've got a great idea.
What?
What if they took these violent video games and they added, like you go through and you do your dirty work, whatever, and they added the sort of internet version of absolution, like you could connect up with some priest somewhere in like North Stillwater over the internet, and you could you could do your penance and your confessions and your Hail Marys and whatnot, and you could just be done with it.
I think that it's a brilliant idea. I do not think there are nearly enough children conversing with priests on the internet. I think
you don't?
Absolutely need to get them
involved.
involved.
You're right. I think we need more of that.
If we can get our clergy
and
our children together, I think that's the key to saving them and keeping them out of the these violent video games. I think they need to, maybe go and get a job at the rectory and play some volleyball with the priests and go ahead and rake leaves. Do anything they can to keep their idle hands are the devil's business. Is that what it is?
Workshop.
Devil's workshop something.
Yeah.
And we certainly don't want our children with idle hands, and we don't want them in the devil's workshop.
No.
So put them in God's workshop.
No.
And have them build birdhouses with Father Pete.
And I think that we should give our priests more to do with their hands as well.
Certainly.
Especially when it hands-on with our youth.
They should be absolutely hands-on with our kids, and they should go ahead and bring them, lead them, and they need to stroke them. They need to, comfort them, and they need to bring them closer and get as close as they possibly can.
More hugs.
Sure.
Less lugs.
Yeah.
I believe that's the case.
I agree.
Especially with our clergy and our kids.
Yeah, and these video games, another thing is they don't teach you anything about real life. Like
No.
I said, they constantly tell you that the white guy is the bad guy, and you'll hear that all over the place. But then also death has no real consequence in these
None.
games. I've played it, like I said, and if you wind up winging a chap while you're in the game and you wind up planting him or putting him on the ground, he's dead and you continue with your business. You almost step over his lifeless corpse just to continue with more of your bad deeds. And I don't think that's right.
What do you
these
think
kids.
should happen?
Well, I would add some sort of a real life element where they have to realize the consequences and they know what they've done. I mean, if you kill someone in a video game, you have to realize that he has a video wife and video kids that no longer have a video father, and you have to realize that they need video support.
There's a video home they live in. There's video food that has to be put on the table.
Right.
There's video jobs and video school.
Without a video father, how are these video kids going to stay off video drugs?
You bring up some very interesting points. I think what we need to do is we need to assemble the audience together. We need to talk to them en masse about all the things that we've discussed here today. And we need to do it in a public forum, not on the air. The air is great for sort of, getting things off our chest and so on. I think we need to take this down to Stillwater City Hall. We need to sit down with the fine Stillwater Police Department. We need to sit down with the council.
And I'm not saying go to a city council meeting and wait your turn at the podium to go ahead and bring this up. I demand a meeting. I demand that we bring listeners and ourselves, and we get access to the highest levels of office, and we bring our problems to them, and we get solutions. We don't get just people talking at us. We don't get people talking in circles. We get action.
And if not, do we arm the populace?
I think the populace is already armed with the condition of the streets we have.
You think?
If they're not, they ought to be. I can tell you that I have a concealed weapons permit. I'm always armed.
Are you armed at this very moment?
I'm armed. I have several weapons on me at this very instant.
Really?
I have actually 2 separate knives. I have a blackjack. I have a sap, and I have an ankle holster with a Derringer. And then I have another gun that I'm quite frankly, it's none of your business where it is. I know we've been partners a long time, but just in case something happens and you go a little bananas, you get a little screwy, just know.
There's a weapon where you least expect it.
There is nothing between that gun and me but air and opportunity.
I see. Air and opportunity. Where have I heard that before?
And you know what?
What?
I'm all out of air.
Oh. With that, we'll be right back.
WMD KBoom 108 FM.
Remember me? I was the little girl with the pigtails and freckles on the side of all my daddy's restaurants. Well, I'm all grown up, and we're here to please you, late night or anytime at Freckle Bitches. It's the Sausage Fest at Freckle Bitches. We've got hot Italian sausages, thick Polish kielbasa, and uncut German knockwurst. But my favorite, the Freckle Bitches All-American Hot Dog. Grilled till it's bursting with juices. I like mine slathered in mustard. Boy, does that taste good going down. Sometimes I can't help myself, and I take them all home for later. Let us take your hot dog, wrap our buns around it, and serve it up fresh. Get more than a mouthful tonight at Freckle Bitches. You can't beat our meat.
The mysteries of aromatherapy have unlocked the doors to relaxation for centuries. The Romans employed sandalwood, the Chinese favored saffron, the Egyptians we're fairly sure they used their own dead. But Stillwaterians have raised the art of aromatherapy to new heights when they walk through the doors of Ribs for Her Pleasure and smell the smells of dinner. Relax as you are enveloped in the fragrance of USDA prime baby back ribs sizzling on the grill, drenched in our thick, sweet dynamite sauce. Inhale the pungent scent of our oven-baked cornbread, barbecued baked beans, and fresh corn on the cob. And just when you thought you couldn't smell any more, we present a Ribs for Her Pleasure dessert menu so large that if dropped from a great height, it would kill a small child. Come to Ribs for Her Pleasure and witness our satisfied diners who end up chained to their chairs to keep them from ripping open their bellies to eat our delicious food for a second time. And all without lifting a finger. Stop. Breathe deep, relax, and eat until you're sick. Sick in the belly. Delightful. At Ribs for Her Pleasure. Dedicated to the woman of the house.
108 FM, WMD KBoom. Conservative talk in Stillwater. 108 FM, WMD KBoom.
KBoom 108, where we're right and they are wrong. My name is David. That is Mike. It's the Mike and David Show. And we've been talking about a lot of things on the air that make sense for Stillwaterians, for Americans, for people that are world citizens. And you during the break, you had mentioned a couple things that you wanted to talk about.
Well, we were talking about immigration, flag burning. We talk about it all the time on this station. And there was a couple of points that I had. One, air travel is so dangerous these days, and that's not our fault. That's the fault of these nuts, these psychos who have decided to use one of the most modern conveniences of the Western world, and they've gone ahead and tainted it, because now it becomes, what's going to happen here? Anytime you see a guy on the plane who looks like he doesn't belong there, and believe me, they're there more often every day.
I feel dirty when I'm on planes.
Well, you have to fly for 4 hours just thinking the whole time, how am I going to do in a fight with this guy? I mean, if I got to tackle this guy, what's going to happen?
Right.
And that's good. You should remain on point at all times.
Mm-hmm.
I thought of a way to kind of get, because they use the shoes. You remember the shoe bomber guy, and then there's other people who are...
You've actually brought your shoe out as an illustration.
I put
here.
it up on the console there.
Yeah.
I'm just stretching, getting a little limber.
Uh-huh.
But they, the shoe bomber guy, they smuggle contraband, and now we all have to take off our shoes now, and that just adds to your travel time. People got to take off their shoes, put it on the belt. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, depending on what
it's led
city
me
you're
to
in.
do? You know what it's led me to do? I finally got that athlete's foot cleared up.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm spraying the inside of my shoes now because I don't want to be embarrassed.
Sure.
When that, cop at the airport wants to inspect my shoes and gives me that look. That look of, yeah, you're not carrying a bomb, but hey, your shoes smell.
Yeah,
You've seen that look.
There may be a germ agent in there is what he's thinking. Sure.
Exactly.
Well, I say, and here's my way to get around it. You don't have to take off your shoes and put them on the belt anymore. You don't have to do any of this. I say when you check in at the counter, and you check in for your flight, either electronically or otherwise, you have to exchange your shoes with a pair of rental shoes from the airline, and you travel exclusively in rental shoes.
So it's like you give them your bags and you give them your shoes.
Yes, your bags, your shoes go forward as baggage.
Uh-huh.
They are delivered to your destination, and you wear maybe a nice, comfortable loafer, perhaps a mule if you're a lady. You can actually select. They're not just going to saddle you with something ugly.
So government loafers and government mules?
Something comfortable for your flight, absolutely. And you go ahead and out with these men and women of the skies with these, and then you don't have to worry. You don't have to sit there in the plane going, wow, I'm enjoying this this edited film. I certainly hope no one spoils it by pulling out a linoleum knife. You know what I mean? You don't want that to happen. So now you know that's not going to happen because your shoes are safely tucked away.
Right. And boy, man, when you get that V gouged out of your neck with a linoleum knife.
Awful.
Oh, it's hard to heal and it leaves a scar.
I was in middle school and a guy, they were having some fun, a couple of guys, Tony and Jeff, and one zigged when he should have zagged, and the other one wound up an X-Acto knife in his side.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that was a bad day at the bus
Although
stop.
that's a clean cut. An X-Acto knife, that's a clean cut.
Sure, but still a bad day at the bus stop when you're 12.
Yeah, that's true. It's interesting that we can talk about these things. It's interesting because we live in a time when the government is cracking down on everything. And in some cases, I applaud that.
Right.
The violent video games.
But not immigration. They don't crack
down on that. Of course not.
I have a solution. Here's something else. When people come from other countries and they want to populate our country, and that's fine. If you're a legal immigrant, more power to you. Come here.
What is this, like
work,
the Mike
work.
mop-up session?
Listen, I have these ideas.
All right, fine.
I want to get them out. To me, they're important. This one is also important, and I just think it's an innovation whose time has come. You know how people come from the other countries and they want to wear their costumes in our country?
Yeah, I don't get that.
They want to wear their
turbans,
veils,
turban,
and their big fur robe or whatever the hell they wear in other countries.
Yeah.
Here's my idea. You can wear whatever costume you want. Go ahead. If it means it to you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it has to be red, white, and blue stars and stripes. It has to look like an American flag.
Uh-huh. So
you want to wear a burqa, you want to wear a veil on your face, a turban on your head, that's fine. But it's going to have America written all over it.
So what you're attempting to do, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what you're attempting to do is actually reverse the typical designation for someone's race. You're not looking for someone to be an Asian American, an African American, a Mexican American, a Norwegian American. You're looking for the word America to come first.
Absolutely.
You want an American African.
And this does not preclude
You want an American Mexican. You want an American Norwegian.
Again, does not preclude
an American Canadian.
From being proud of where they're from or being true to their faith or whatever the hell they call it in these countries. I don't know what they call it.
Yes.
Their duty, their
ideology.
Their whatever. So they can go ahead and do that, but at the same time showing the colors of the great country that allows them to do that.
I think this is going to lessen the confusion when one needs to wade face first into a group of these ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah.
You can use that straight away to determine which one of them you're going to go after.
Yeah.
Say you're nutty and there's some rally. And, you agree with us here on the Mike and David show about illegal immigration. Mm-hmm. And you want to do something about it. You've got one of the 100 guns that you have in your place, and you want to take some of these people out. I'm all behind you. But wouldn't it be great if you really could tell who the good guys were?
Yeah.
Illegal immigrant or not. If they were willing to come here and wear our colors. I mean, there's no way that a terrorist would want to wear our colors.
No, they can't be all bad.
They would be defiled.
Yeah.
They'd be horrified.
Yeah. It would be like acid on their skin.
Hmm.
And you called this Mike's Mop-Up Hour. These are good ideas.
Oh, they are good ideas.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're on board.
I have the producer sheet in front of me. We're going to talk about FCC censorship. We're going to talk about censorship in general.
I feel strongly about things sometimes.
I understand, and I don't think. Look, I'm glad you brought them up.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
I'm glad that we live in a society where you can pretty much say what you want to say within reason and according to what the government thinks is best for us.
Right.
I think that's a brilliant thing to live in a society like that.
Sure.
Where you are free to do whatever you wanted to do as long as somebody in our government approves of it.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, who else has that kind of freedom?
I'm sitting here and I'm looking at some of the proposed rules that the government's going to have for television, for radio, and so on. And this provision about Sundays being all churchified, no more hardcore gangsta thug movies on cable channels on Sundays. None of that stuff. All day, 24/7 on Sunday, nothing but religion.
Yeah.
Nothing but, and I'm not talking about religion like, the temptation of Christ or any of that stuff, that quasi junk.
Right.
I'm talking about hitting your knees and thanking God that you live in a country like we live.
Yeah.
And doing so for a good long time.
Give me that old-time religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure it's broadcast to me in what I would consider a favorable light. Don't give me your snarky, sarcastic, well, hey, this might be true or might not be true according to your faith. No, it is true. It is Sunday, and on the seventh day he rested, and he thought about what he'd done.
Right.
And you need to get in line with that.
That's right. Now, the cable channels have pushed back. Gee, go figure. And there's been some interesting things posed as solutions. One of them is to take all of these R-rated and NC-17 rated shows that aired in theaters and corrupted our youth, that were showed in theaters and corrupted our youth, and reenact them, but not changing the storyline, changing the actors to puppets. Can you imagine some of history's best action flicks with puppets in the roles of the actors? It would remove all of this stigma of, oh, action movies make little Johnny go out and blow somebody away with a tombstone. You know, they see a car chase, they want to go down to Novin and steal back a car and go for a joyride. Right? None of that anymore because puppets are doing it. You don't see puppets inciting riots.
I love this idea.
You don't see these cute little puppets telling our youth to go kill people. You know?
You know what I love about it? I love the fact that it brings families together.
Yes. Absolutely.
Finally, I could enjoy a Nick McGee film.
Uh-huh.
I could watch Rear Naked Choke with my kids.
Right.
And they're going to enjoy it on their level, and I'm going to enjoy it on my level.
That's exactly right.
I think it's fantastic.
It is the bridge between generations.
I don't often agree with cable companies and big media corporations. And
I'm not so sure that a cable company came up with this idea.
I think there was pushback from them on this.
There was pushback, but then the government said this is what we're going to do.
This makes sense.
Right.
It would have to be the government to come up with this idea because it makes so much sense.
Right. And on top of this, the actual actors and puppeteers involved would be government workers.
Oh.
So we could crank out, a movie a year based on just throwing that kind of resource at it.
So you could have a DOE.
A DOE, Department of
Entertainment.
Ah. That's amazing. That's an interesting thing.
Or a DOCP.
Which is?
Departments of Casting and Puppets.
Nice. Yeah, I think the Justice Department would go for that.
Sure.
And I think that the cable companies would be on board with it as well.
Boy, again...
It's a reasonable, you want to reach a compromise. This is a reasonable compromise.
Bringing families together.
In the end, that's the goal.
It's all about the family.
In the end, it's about bringing families together.
Protecting them from all these outside influences that try to destroy the family. Instead, turning those very same influences into family strengthening items.
And making sure that they are well aware that the government is who they should look to for their advice on what to watch, for protecting their children. I don't think we can make a stronger argument based on the government that we have now that what we do, protecting our kids, is the highest priority. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. We have to protect the children.
Right. The children are our future.
We need to teach them well.
We do. We need to do that, and we need to do that on such a way that it has to be palatable. And that's what I think the puppets do. The puppets take care of that palatability.
Well, then you're educating children, and you know what? They don't even know it. It's almost like chocolate-flavored broccoli. It's good for them.
Have you tried that?
They don't know it. The chocolate-flavored broccoli?
Yeah.
I haven't had it. I had the vanilla cauliflower. It wasn't bad.
Gotcha. You know, I was looking around on the internet for a site that I could just refer to from time to time that has examples of the worst of television, the worst of radio, the worst of movies. I mean, the hardcore killing, the blood and the guts and the screwing and the beating of whores and the running over of policemen and the horrendous, the being in a room naked with a bunch of women who just want to do nothing but ravage your body, you know?
Sure.
I mean, we've all been there.
The gays with their furtive glances and their nodding.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. I forgot. But I sit there and I look at this and I think, wouldn't it be great if there was a site that could protect us by showing us these things using internet video streaming techniques?
Almost like an online glossary.
Sure. A reference.
I see.
Yeah.
Like a reference library of filth.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And have it staffed by, somebody who has been around this sort of thing for years and years and years and knows how to pick and choose exactly what goes on this site. And then the inverse of all that stuff, all that's left, is what you show on television. Everything else is protected with some sort of a special chip in the television sets.
Okay.
You know, and on the radio. I mean, I truly believe that if we utilize technology to protect ourselves from ourselves, we are doing ourselves a tremendous favor.
What if technology is not for that? What's it for? Technology should be to protect us from people bastardizing technology.
And it should also be used to find those things that are just horrifying to watch.
Absolutely.
Overtly sexual, angrily violent.
The gays.
Yes, with their furtive glances and their nodding heads. I don't, you know, there's something about that whole situation when you're being judged by a gay person that just, it just drives me crazy.
Yeah. Who are they to judge anybody?
Don't get me started.
Gay physician, heal thyself.
KBoom 108, where we're right and they are wrong. We're talking about censorship. We're talking about being able to live in society without being inundated with the filth and the smut.
And the gays.
Before we go to the break, I just want to make sure I've covered every possible thing that you wanted to talk about.
Oh, you don't want me coming back with another mop-up of the night session?
Here's the thing. I just figure that if you have this opportunity, now's the time to do it, because I think we have the listeners by the throat.
Okay.
I think they are hanging on every word we have to say. Yeah, they may be doing other things while they're doing it, you know, driving, shooting, loving, talking, who knows what they're doing, but they have us along for the ride. Mm-hmm. And as long as we're a part of their lives, and as long as I'm a part of your life, Mike, I want to make sure that you are given your due. Should we just take a break, or is there anything else?
How about we talk about the blood oath that we force these people to take when they come into this country?
The blood oath?
The blood oath.
Oh, I remember this. See, this was an idea you had when we were talking about the immigration thing.
Yeah.
But it was off the air. You see, I tell you this while we're playing the news, while we're doing the commercials and so on. I tell you, just write it down and say it on the air. That's so much more effective.
Yeah.
And again, you get a larger audience than just me.
This is another idea. And you know, we make these people come to the country, and you cut the palm of anybody who comes to this country.
Like when they just walk in, they run their hand across some table saw and boom.
Not a table saw. No, come on. We have to have a medical professional involved in this.
Oh.
It would be a scalpel, maybe an X-Acto knife, which we talked about earlier.
Sure, it makes a clean cut.
You cut a palm and you bleed this person, and you bleed them into like a petri dish. And
how much blood?
That's when they're reciting the citizenship oath.
Oh,
so it's combined.
So that
with
makes
us.
it a blood oath.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then they can go and assimilate into our country. If they do anything wrong, because we'll have the chip implanted, we'll be able to follow them around and figure out
the shock collar.
We have the blood.
Yeah.
The second we get the blood, it's whisked off to government laboratories. We are cloning these people. They act up. They do something wrong. They're replaced by their clone who won't ask questions, who we actually turn into a productive member of society. So we are cloning immigrants as they come, but only to be used if the immigrant doesn't do exactly what we expected him to do or what he's supposed to do.
Huh.
So essentially that's the risk you're taking. That's the bet you're making by coming into our country. You're telling us you're going to be a productive member of our country.
Right. And if not...
And by your tax returns and everything like that, if you're not making a certain amount, if you're not living up to what we thought you were...
Need an attorney. Here's how we cheat them.
The recent increase in gang violence on the streets of Stillwater has resulted in an increase in financial opportunity for people just like you. If you've been shot, robbed, or murdered, your case is ripe for the courts, and I'm just the man for the job. I'm a local boy. I graduated from Stillwater Community College with a passion for the law and an associate's in gun repair. Now, these qualifications allow me to get inside the head of your jury, so I know early on whether we gonna lose or not. And if we do lose, lunch is on me.
How we cheat them, attorney at law. If you don't win, it's not like you didn't try.
Gold guitars and gun and gold, all that on the fence. Did we mention we have gold? All that on the fence.
Hey, you cocksuckers! We're going out of business! Everything, and I mean everything, is at clearance prices! prices. I'm Crazy Carl, and if you can buy musical instruments, jewelry, or electronics for less, I'll fill my pants with shrimp and jump in the shark tank. Oh, Christ, it's bloody cold. And remember, if your stuff got recently stolen, we might have it here at On the Fence. I'm Crazy Carl, and if we don't, I'll tattoo a bullseye on my arse and hand you a bow and arrow. Oh, Christ almighty, take it, boys!
Go guitars and gun and go. All at On the Fence.
Did we mention we got guns?
All at On the Fence.
WMD KBoom 108 FM.
KBoom 108. We're right, they're wrong. I'm David. That's Mike. It's the Mike and David Show, and we are talking flag burning. Yes or no?
Yes.
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 What do you mean,
Immediately.
yes.
At the stake. Are you
What
kidding me?
are you talking about?
No questions asked. Burn these people.
What? Burn them?
What are you talking about?
Flag burning.
Oh. Flag burning.
Flag burning.
I didn't hear the L.
Sorry about that. But I'm with you.
Sure.
I'm with you. If that's what we're talking about, I'm with you. But that's not what we're talking about. So, flag burning. Big controversial subject here in this country and around the world because they know that it's a controversial subject here. We see all these terrorist dudes all over the place burning our flags. And it's like, is it really any skin off your nose?
It shouldn't even be controversial. It just should be, don't do it, period. That's it.
Yeah, if you do it, we invade your country.
Yes.
And we grab your oil.
Yeah, and well, it's really our oil. We're the ones who need it, and we're the ones who use it.
That's true.
They just happen to have the land it's on.
Right, and I don't know what that's all about, but that's another day. So flag burning in general, though, has become an epidemic. I mean, you have people burning flags. It used to be the flag got burnt as the way that it ended its useful life. I mean, if you look up ways to retire a flag, yeah, you can fold it and you can put it in a box and you can, send a child off to war and get killed and, have the flag come back as part of that and sort of retire the flag. You can do that. But one of the ways to dispose of is not the right way to say because the flag is so sacred, but one of the accepted ways to, take it out of service, retire it, is to burn it, but not in anger.
No.
Not draped over, the Lady Liberty, not not in a group of student insurgents who are dancing around it gaily singing Death to America.
All these people yodeling while they go ahead and do that. I agree.
Yes.
It's foolish.
You want to fold it nicely into the triangular shape that we all know as the storage shape for the flag.
Almost like a hat.
Right.
Like when you make one of those newspaper hats.
Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, the flag, and this is a little known fact, if you were to fold the flag into one of those newspaper hats, it would not only look more stylish than a typical newspaper hat, but it wouldn't leave behind ink stains on your forehead.
Oh, absolutely.
And it would actually provide more absorbent protection from the occasional ink spill that those hats were supposed to protect you from. Because they were newsprint.
True, but you don't want to get ink on the flag. Are you advocating spilling ink on the flag?
No, I'm just simply pointing out the absorptive properties of what flags are usually made out of, which is cotton polyester. It would protect you from
said ink spill.
Yes.
I see.
A polyester cotton blend is always going to outmatch a newsprint.
Right.
Just regular paper.
I'm on board with that.
All right. Now, having said that, because flags are made out of cotton and polyester, they're pretty easy to burn. So you always have the option of either standing there silently in reverence of the flag or burning it. And if you're going to burn it, the only way you can burn it is if it's flammable. If we decided that we didn't want this to be a problem anymore, if we wanted it to go away today, we could do it. All we have to do is make our flags out of steel. Huh?
American steel.
Oh, of course. American steel.
I love it.
I mean, We could make it steel with steel little hooks to make it so that it could be flapping in the breeze, or we could just simply make it out of one solid sheet of good old-fashioned rolled American steel.
Just see it sitting there stiffly on a pole.
Oh yeah,
it's not waving in the breeze. Because you know what? Honestly, the wind needs to watch itself too, blowing our flags to and fro. We need a steel flag that'll stand up and say, "Hey, back off, wind.
Back off, wind.
You can't blow us."
Right.
You can't knock us off our perch.
Sure.
We need to stand here and defy you. And a steel flag would defy even the wind.
Right. And it would not be flammable, which is my original point.
True.
I hadn't considered the whole wind angle on that, but I'm with you.
It's about time the wind got some comeuppance. The wind, it's pushed us around for far too long.
Oh, don't get me started.
But I agree. You couldn't burn the steel flag. And still red, white, and blue, yes?
Oh, yeah. And get this. That which you cannot burn gets stronger, especially steel. What happens when you temper steel, huh?
Yeah.
You burn it, you let it cool down, you burn it again, you let it cool down, you burn it again. And that steel is going to get harder and harder and harder. Right?
Just like the heart of America.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you take this steel flag, you put it on newly reinforced poles, because let's face it, it's going to be a little heavier.
Yeah.
And proudly she waves, my friend, and nobody is going to step up and burn that flag.
You may have to put up a second pole and put it between the two of them.
Sort of
like that.
Sort of a bunting thing?
Almost like a goalpost, like a football goalpost.
Yeah.
And then you put that, perch the flag.
Sure.
It's held up by all of them.
I see a new sport. I see a variant on an old sport.
American ball.
Yeah, absolutely. KBoom 108, we're right, they're wrong. You're listening to the Mike and David Show. We're talking about the flag. It's burning. It's not burning. The Pledge of Allegiance. We turn towards the flag. If we're in the military, we salute. If we're not in the military, put our hand over our hearts. Our right hand. Thank you very much. Not our left hand. No, our right hand. Because right is right.
Yes.
And left is wrong.
And the right hand always knows what the left hand is doing.
That's true. So if it wasn't just the Pledge of Allegiance first thing in the morning at school, because that's really all it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, we do say the Pledge of Allegiance sometimes when we go to civic thing down at the Stillwater Arena. If we go to the
go to the Elks Lodge or something.
Yeah. We'll stand up and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. But truly, it has fallen out of favor. There's all this business over whether or not the word God should be in there. There's all this business over whether or not kids should be forced to claim that they are allegiant to a government, our government. Why wouldn't you want to be allegiant to it?
You live here.
Please. But there are those, I'm not going to name names, or else I'm not going to name names. There are those who would like to see that dealt away with. I say...
Yes, and then we could all pledge allegiance to nothing and let our steel freak flag fly.
I say in your face, Mr. and Mrs. Liberal.
Yeah, take that, Mr. and Mrs. Harry Armpit.
I say we take the Pledge of Allegiance, and we don't do it once a day as a child. We do it 6 times a day, age non-specific. When I think about the way families have been disintegrating, for me, it comes back to a lack of respect for those who are in power. It's a lack of respect for the institutions that have made this country great.
Is there anything more inspiring than walking and seeing a family kneeling with their eyes closed and speaking in unison?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, there isn't.
No, it'll get you right in your throat. It'll get you right in your heart. You'll feel it in your stomach. You'll feel it in your lower intestine.
You start to feel like an American again.
Yeah.
You start to feel like, hey, maybe there is hope for this country.
We need to get back to that.
Crazy.
We're Americans.
That's right.
That's
We're
who we
all
are.
Americans.
And therefore, you need to let your government know that you appreciate everything that they do for you.
Now, on top of all that, maybe you combine that whole thing. If it's convenient to do it while you're in the bathroom, when you're done what?
I don't even want to think about that.
Now, come on.
Have some respect.
You have a problem with bodily functions. That's your problem. What?
Because you know why?
Imagine this.
You know why? Because bodily function, here's the thing. It's a metaphor. When you're in the bathroom, you're getting rid of waste
Toxins,
from your body.
yes, waste, yes.
Right, and that's what this country needs to do. This country needs to take a
Right.
big trip to the bathroom
And then what?
and get rid of
And
the
then
waste
what?
that it's got
And then
inside
what?
of it.
And then what?
And then your temple is clean.
No, and then what? You wash your hands.
I want to wash my hands of this whole damn thing, quite
Right,
frankly.
but the point is you wash your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you have no problem with people washing their hands and then putting them under a blow dryer or grabbing paper towels and stuff and doing that whole washing thing. Why would you have a problem with people bowing towards Washington and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance not on a flag? Because if they're doing all that stuff, they're not burning flags.
I'm all for that. What I'm saying is I'm not saying they should be in the bathroom doing it. You shouldn't be going to the bathroom while you're also saying the Pledge of Allegiance towards America. I'll tell you what.
You just think it's disrespectful.
Unbelievably so.
Really?
Because the people who sneak into this country, the people that are abusing this country, the people that are telling our government that they're not right, they're essentially taking a dump on this country.
Okay.
And the two should never mix. The two should never meet.
I see.
You know what? Take care of your business and then take care of your obligation.
It was look. I was just thinking.
I respect you. I respect you. I don't mean to come down on you.
Compliance is important.
Yes.
If you're going to set up a rule like this, you want people to do it.
Sure.
So, what you don't want is you don't want people going, "Oh, I'll get around to it next hour."
No, there will
want
be designated times so you know to take care of your bathroom nonsense before you do it.
Wow. I'm gonna say you're right. It was just a wild hair idea that I had,
Sure.
but I understand your point. And I think it's a point well taken.
Well, this is America. We can have differing viewpoints, and then eventually one of us is right and the other comes around.
That's certainly true. That's certainly true. I have a feeling, though, that if we don't do something about the flag burning thing, that we're going to lose all respect for what to some people is nothing more than a piece of fabric with some coloring in it, some dye in it. And I'm all for smaller government. I'm all for less laws. But I think there needs to be some regulation here. If we're not going to do the steel thing.
Let's be clear. Less laws is good.
Yeah.
But if you're enacting laws that help us and protect us,
yeah,
by all means, go ahead.
So here's my thought. We chat up Alderman Hughes and we say, hey, at least in Stillwater, at least in this slice of the world,
it has to start somewhere
where we have control. That any flag that's within the city limits is treated with a chemical. Now, just bear with me on this. Is treated with a chemical that when it is burned, if it unfortunately falls prey to one of these pinko hippie Nazis that likes to burn flags, that this chemical that it's treated with will also burn and give off fumes that immediately immobilize the perpetrator. Because sometimes, I don't know if this happened to you, but sometimes you'll be driving along and there'll just be a flag burning there with no one around it. And you think to yourself, well, who did that? You just want to find the people and just take them out behind the building and just smack them around.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're not there.
So you're proposing soaking a flag or treating a flag.
All flags. All flags.
All flags. With some sort of a nerve agent.
I'm thinking a nerve agent. I'm thinking curare. I'm thinking, who knows, whatever. I mean, there are plenty of people that are smarter than me that can figure that out.
Sure.
Yeah. So I say we just simply create the situation where and believe me, it only takes one or two people being completely immobile and losing their bowel control and having someone else come along and pick them off for burning a flag.
Yeah.
It only takes one or two of those before people realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't burn the flag.
Yeah, once word gets out.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm thinking, if that's the case, if you can make it a real penalty for people to burn the flag, but not necessarily harm others, like if you were to turn it into a nuclear explosive or something like that, yeah, you'd blow up the perpetrator. But you'd probably take out 14 city blocks at the same time.
Yeah, you take out a chunk of America.
You're looking at one person paying the price for their own actions with this nerve agent. And it can be done, my friend. There's none. I've seen movie after movie after movie where things just like that have happened.
Right.
And look, if they can depict it in Hollywood, it has to be real. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
108 FM, WMD KBoom.
Remember me? I was the little girl with the pigtails and freckles on the side of all my daddy's restaurants. Well, I'm all grown up. And we're here to please you, late night or anytime at Freckle Bitches. After a long, hard day at work, you're tired and hungry, and there's nothing like our newest burger. It's called the Fist. A pound and a half of meat, tomatoes, onions, and hot, spicy brown mustard. Pop the fist in your mouth. But not all at once. You don't want to hurt yourself. And if you need us to help you, we'll be happy to. Come in tonight and get fisted at Freckle Bitches. You can't beat our meat.
Our world is dying. Hello, I'm Marge from On the Rag. I was appalled when I found out that huge corporations are destroying the rainforest to make the jeans you're wearing. It's true. Do you know how many rabbits died in the testing laboratories so that you could wear those socks? It's true. So I went on the hunt for materials that Mother Earth herself would proudly wear and would look great with her bowl haircut. We got comfortable shoes, painter pants, work shirts, and On the Rag proudly features the XX XY clothing line that is stylish, easy to care for, and certified dolphin safe. New product flows in once a month. So we'll see you soon at On the Rag. Peace.
Conservative talk in Stillwater. 108 FM, WMD KBoom.
Where do you stock up on the jewelry that blinds your friends for less? Where do you save 20% for a limited time? Where? On Thin Ice, where everything in our stores is 20% off for one day only. On Thin Ice, where bling is king.
The talk that rocks your world. 108 FM, WMD KBoom.
KBoom 108, where we're right and they are wrong. I'm David. That's Mike on the Mike and David Show, and we are looking at some pretty interesting times, my friend. We're looking at times where weapons are everywhere. Weapons are available to anybody, anywhere. We have some fairly open laws here about guns. I almost said liberal. Please,
easy. You want to get it kicked off the air?
That's right. Kick me. I mean, stop me for doing that. But we still though are not totally free. We still have this stigma as gun owners, as gun wielders. We still have this stigma of being big fat white guys, big fat loud boisterous white guys that want everything for themselves. Nothing for the minorities, and that's just simply not true. We just want to be armed.
Yeah, but I don't know why that even is a stereotype or something we have to deal with, because who's got all the guns in this town?
Oh, yeah, it's not us.
No, it is absolutely not us.
People yell at us when we have guns, but they don't yell at anybody else.
No, this town's a shooting gallery, and
look at Los Carnales.
We're all waiting in line to get in.
Look at 3rd Street Saints. Look at Vice Kings. Look at the West Side Rollers.
Yeah?
These are just 4 of the myriad gangs in town that have more guns than you or I do put together.
They probably have more guns than members.
You think?
And there's a lot of people in those gangs.
Yeah. Well, I say we fight back, and I say we start right now, and I say we start early. There are those who would say mothers will be against this. There are those who will say, especially liberal mothers, will be against this. Because,
what aren't they against?
Right. Exactly. That wasn't my point, but exactly.
Yeah.
I did hear in West Stillwater a new group starting up called PMS. Pistols Make Sense. And when I heard about this, I thought, well, okay, how is this any different than, Moms for Guns and all the other, organizations that we have? But their monthly meetings are a complete bloodbath.
Well, they got to meet, what, twice a month, probably? Consecutive days?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, they have the two because some people, they can't make it on one day or the other, so they do that. So I think that's where we start, because here you have women who are on a monthly basis just getting all the bitchiness out. They're just getting real. In some cases, a tear or two as they talk about their experiences.
So pistols make sense. So this is a retreat? Are they learning to shoot?
It's it's like any other, hey, let's get together and I'll sell you cosmetics and I'll sell you food storage items and whatnot. It's one of those kind of things. You get together with your girls and you, how women do, they'll get together and they'll show each other how to use dildos and how to wear sexy hot clothes. Those parties, not sex parties per se, because, Lord knows those are fun too. The toy parties.
Oh, okay, where they kind of demonstrate how to use devices and things like that.
And that's what it's like with Pistols Make Sense. They show you how to clean a gun. They show you how to fire a gun. They show you how to hide a gun once you've done something maybe you're not so proud of. They take you through the whole thing. And they, as you said, remove the stigma. If we start with these, many of these women are mothers. And if we start with these women and we start to say, hey, do you love your child? Do you? Then show your child that love. Give them the gift of a firearm. Early. Start when they're young.
You market to these women, all right, and you get them on board, and then they get other people on board.
Right.
Then we could actually kind of get a small fleet or an army of these women to organize and maybe sell the products that we're talking about. Like they would go, they'd make appointments, maybe go door to door.
Right.
And then they would have
Can you imagine
parties where they would be
knock
selling
on the
these
door.
products.
Yeah. Open the door, there's a woman standing there with a gun pointed at you. Not to shoot you.
No.
To
help you.
Unless you didn't buy.
Yeah.
But to help you.
To help you, absolutely.
Exactly.
To teach you what you should be taught.
That's a powerful motivator.
Yeah. What you should have been taught as a youth, which is where we're trying to start. And we could you could have incentives for these women. I mean, almost like monthly sales contests. You could have what would be good? I mean, you could really come up with something. Somebody who really goes above and beyond. You could give them how about a car? I mean, you could give them a car, and it would just, then everybody in town would know that they were...
Oh, like they do with the cosmetics companies.
Yeah.
They do the pink cars. Instead of that...
Absolutely.
Camo.
Oh, my God. That's
camouflage.
Perfect. That is perfect.
Camouflage, high-end camouflage car, trick it out.
Trick that car out.
Yeah.
And put it, and armor it up, and Kevlar it, and...
You know who would do this? I know the guys would do it down at Rim Jobs.
You think so?
They would do it. Of course. What? Are you kidding?
Man, we could get everybody on board with this. You know what? We got to put this up on the website. We got to get people start getting people signed up and get some ideas. And if you're out there and you can think of a prototype,
sure,
anything from, like you said, the baby bottle to any other product you could think of. The mobile that I mentioned, maybe a grenade rattle. You could go.
Let me go the other
that.
direction on you here. Let me go the other direction. Why not start to really get real with what's going on in Stillwater right now? A lot of drive-bys. Right? A lot of innocent people getting killed in these drive-bys.
Sure.
I think this
and I have to be, I have just for 1 second.
Sure.
You said there are a lot of drive-bys and a lot of innocent people getting killed.
Yeah.
And gun knowledge and gun safety don't essentially help you in a drive-by because you don't see it coming.
Right.
And you can't walk around frosty all the time.
Sure.
So, everything we're preaching before this, what you're mentioning, might not help you. So go.
No, and I'm not talking about this from the perspective of the shootee. I'm talking about this from the perspective of the combination driver-shooter. Because this happens a lot. The traditional drive-by is a driver and others who shoot, right?
Right.
A driver, the windows go down, the people in the passenger seat and in the passenger side back seat, they're the ones wielding the weapons, right?
Right.
I've seen this happen more and more these days where the driver himself rolls down the passenger window, shoots across through the car to a drive-by, sort of a combo deal, right? Driver and shooter.
That's pretty rough.
Well, it wouldn't be if we actually did gun training while we were doing driver training and if we tested that skill when you go for your driver's license.
So you would have a combination test of not only driving,
yeah,
but marksmanship.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it's going to be easier once you get the proper training to pass that test than it would be to parallel park.
Wow. And more efficient. You get more done.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, none of this craning your neck over your shoulder to see where you're... No. It's a simple turn to the head, to the right, pop, pop.
Bang, gone. And also, there's a lot less looking in the rearview mirror. Did I get him? Did I get him?
Right.
You know you got it.
That's right. This is the celebration that is gun ownership. This is how you celebrate gun ownership. This is how you celebrate being free to have as many guns as you want, to use them anyway.
And this is something all gun owners should do. They shouldn't just own a gun, period, for defense or whatever you think you need it for. You should innovate. You should figure out uses for your gun and uses for your abilities with a gun that help you and the others around you.
Absolutely. All through history, you have examples of products that were meant for one thing, but found purchase with some other use.
Like spaghetti.
What was spaghetti supposed to be?
I'm not sure.
But you read that on the internet.
I did. Spaghetti initially, I think, was a weapon.
I did not know that.
Yes, it was because it's a hard pasta, and then when you boil it down, it gets soft.
Right.
Well, initially, it was developed hard as a weapon, and it was almost like the first cluster bomb. You know, where they would throw it and it would crack and it would go flying all over the place.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, or then you could like soften it up.
Right.
And also, then it would become almost like a net of some sort. And then it eventually turned out to be delicious.
Huh. You know, I love coming into work every day with you.
Oh, really?
It's nice. Amazing. It's amazing. That guy over there, that's Mike. I'm David. It's the Mike and David Show on KBoom 108, where we're right and they're wrong, and we'll be right back.
We're right. They're wrong. 108 FM. WMD KBoom.
Let's face it. On the street, it's all about respect. And if you ain't got the rags, you ain't got no respect. Change all that at Branded. We feed you the highest end clothing in town, beginning with the season's lines from Urban Predator and Altor Unlimited. Walk the walk with accessories from Acoustics and Viral. Snare the ladies when they catch you in DDT Unlimited and Stalker Streetwear. If you want respect, you gotta go out and get some respect. And you get it at Branded. Look good, even if you bad.
Your first choice for hot talk in Stillwater. 108 FM. WMD KBoom.
Big Al here for TNA, the gentleman's club where we guts it all. You're not gonna believe what you see here at TNA. We got Dama the Charmer. Wait till you see where she hides her snakes, boys. Ouch! Check out Nora the Explorer. Hey, X marks her spot. And Wendy the Amazing Wonder Weasel, spinning plates on her nipples. Hey, headlining this week at TNA is Patty Launchpad. Catch the lucky ping pong balls, and you get to reload the cannon. Oh! And if you're from out of town, we give you 100 TNA fun bucks to spend on the girls. Get yourself a dirty swirly, a knuckle buster, or a face glaze. What? Oh, that's TNA, Gentlemen's Club, where our girls are open 24 hours a day.
You need it, we have it. Scratch that.
World Funk Man.
Twangy guitar.
Hip-hop beats, yeah.
It's all at Scratch That. Your music, your beat. And Scratch That is the exclusive outlet for all the hot new MP3 players. So you can take your tunes wherever you go. Whatever you're into.
Rock and roll!
The Motown sound.
Classic perfection.
Whatever. Your music, your beat. It's all at Scratch That. Word.
More conservative talk. Stillwater's 108 FM. WMD KBoom.
Jeez, am I tired of hearing about those guys over at Rim Jobs. Hey, let me tell you something. Anything they can do, we can do. Yeah, it'll cost you more, but at least we'll have your car for a few more days. Hey, yo, Johnny, make sure that goes on their bill. Jeez. Anyways, like I was saying, there's lots of other garages around town ordered in Rim Jobs. We got paint, we got tires. What else you need? Hey, I think we still got a couple of cassette decks in the back there, if you know what I mean. That'll fix you right up.
Rims, trim, nitrous, even decal work at Rim Jobs. Turning trash into flash.
Fish tank, get out of here.
Colin Felcher here, and everyone always asks me, "Hey, Colin Felcher, where do you find all those amazing vintage clothes you wear?" Here's my secret. I retro a go-go to Sloppy Seconds. Look, if you're going to get into someone else's pants, Sloppy Seconds has always worked for me. Hey! Shirts, shorts, slacks, the occasional strappy sandal. Oh, it's hot! And it's all at Sloppy Seconds, and it's all on drastic sale! Hear this, honey. If it looks good on them, it'll look great on you. At Sloppy Seconds! Testify!
All hot talk, all the time. Stillwater's 108 FM. WMD KBoom.
Remember me? I was the little girl with the pigtails and freckles on the side of all my daddy's restaurants. Well, I'm all grown up. And we're here to please you, late night or anytime at Freckle Bitches. Choose from the single, double, or triple D burgers. Or, if you want more than a mouthful, try the twins. All your meat at Freckle Bitches is grilled to order. I prefer it a little pink in the middle. We're open 24 hours, but after midnight, I just love it if you came in the back door. Freckle Bitches. You can't beat our meat.
Big Al here for TNA, the gentleman's club where we guts it all. You're not gonna believe what you see here at TNA. We got Dama the Charmer. Wait till you see where she hides her snakes, boys. Ouch! Check out Nora the Explorer. Hey, X marks her spot. And Wendy the Amazing Wonder Weasel, spinning plates on her nipples. Hey, headlining this week at TNA is Patty Launchpad. Catch the lucky ping pong balls, and you get to reload the cannon. Oh! And if you're from out of town, we give you 100 TNA fun bucks to spend on the girls. Get yourself a dirty swirly, a knuckle buster, or a face glaze. What? Oh, that's TNA, Gentlemen's Club, where our girls are open 24 hours a day.
KBoom weather like the inside of a dome stadium, isn't it? Gorgeous weather tonight and tomorrow. 75 in Stillwater.
Talk on the radio and nothing else. Stillwater's 108 FM. WMD KBoom.